Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit LIONS fans. Let's get to the news. So here's the scoop that's buzzing around the NFL circles right now, and it's got Lions fans paying close attention. There's a swirling rumor that the Indianapolis Colts, sitting at a disappointing 4-7 record and struggling mightily on defense, might be open to shaking things up before the trade deadline. And the name that's been floated as a potential piece in this puzzle: Quentin Nelson, the absolute beast of a guard. Now I know what you're thinking, Nelson. Yeah, the guy who's been a cornerstone on the Colts' offensive line for years. But with the Colts facing cap issues, a rebuild looming, and the team looking to prioritize their defense and wide receiver core, the possibility of trading Nelson isn't out of the realm of reality. And if it happens, it could send shockwaves through the NFC North, especially for the Lions. Let me break down why this is such a big deal. First, Nelson isn't just any guard, he's a human bulldozer, a player who's been instrumental in making the Colts' run game a force to be reckoned with. Since he was drafted in 2018, Nelson has established himself as one of the top interior linemen in the league, consistently grading out with an average PFF score around 88. 7 over his career and a run block grade that's often above 89. 5. His pass protection is equally impressive, with a grade nearing 87. 2, allowing only around 150 pressures and roughly 10 sacks over his career. That's elite-level stuff, folks. This guy is a wall, a tank that can hold the line against the fiercest defensive fronts. And that's exactly what the Lions need right now, especially with their offensive line dealing with injuries and inconsistency. Now, that's where things get even more interesting. If Detroit manages to acquire Nelson, it could change the entire dynamics of their offense. Jared Goff would get a significant upgrade in his pocket presence, giving him more time to throw and fewer worries about interior pressure. For a quarterback who thrives on play action and quick timing, this kind of upgrade is a game changer. Imagine Goff comfortably setting up his throws, with Nelson clearing the way for swift runs and creating more space for the Lions' rushing attack, which has been solid but not yet at the elite level it could reach. The Lions' rushing game, which has shown flashes of brilliance, could see a boost of around 16% in efficiency, especially with the extra run lanes Nelson would carve out on every snap. And speaking of run lanes, Nelson's presence on the line would elevate the Lions' overall offensive EPA, that's expected points added per play, a key metric for measuring offensive efficiency. With Nelson in the fold, we're talking about a potential plus 20% boost in offensive EPA, which could push the Lions' average yards per game from about 330 to nearly 380. That's a massive leap, especially considering how critical red zone efficiency and third down conversions are in close games. The Lions have been good this season, but adding a player like Nelson would give them the kind of consistency and explosiveness that could push them over the top in many tight contests. Now, it's not just about the raw numbers. Nelson's presence would also bring a mental edge to the Lions' offensive line. His experience, leadership, and physicality set a tone. He's the kind of player who elevates everyone around him. For instance, his comparison to other top guards like Joe Zeitler shows he wins more than 60% of his double-team blocks, which means he's often the reason a running lane opens up or a quarterback stays clean. That extra half-second Goff needs to find his target. Nelson's blocking prowess can buy that. And let's not forget the impact on the red zone. With Nelson sealing the interior, the Lions could see their red zone scoring percentage jump from about 55% to over 73%. That's the kind of efficiency that wins championships. But why would the Colts trade Nelson? Well, sources suggest that with a cap hit of around $15 million and a pending extension for Pittman, Indy is facing tough decisions. They need to upgrade their defense and their secondary, which has struggled with allowing an average of 3-2 sacks per game and giving up too many big plays through the air. They're also looking to bring in younger talent and rebuild for the future. Trading Nelson could be part of that strategy, especially if they can recoup a valuable draft pick, like a second-round pick in the 2026 draft, which the Lions could offer in a heartbeat. If this trade goes down, it could be a seismic shift in the NFC North. The Lions, already contenders with their potent offense and improving defense, would suddenly have an even more dominant front line. Their offensive line would be a fortress, capable of handling the league's best pass rushers and opening up lanes for Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. The impact on Goff's game would be profound, with better protection. He can take more shots downfield, play more confidently, and extend drives. The Lions' overall offensive efficiency could see a jump of around 10–15%, translating into more big plays, more sustained drives, and ultimately more wins. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. If the Lions do get Nelson, their Super Bowl odds could see a significant uptick. Bookmakers currently have Detroit's odds at around plus 1,200, but with Nelson in the mix, many analysts believe those odds could move closer to plus 700, echoing the Chiefs' post-Jones strategy last year. This kind of upgrade isn't just about one player. It's about sending a message to the rest of the league that Detroit is all in, ready to contend for a title and leave their rivals scrambling. Of course, all of this hinges on whether the Colts are truly willing to part ways with Nelson. It's a delicate dance. The Colts might be hesitant, especially if they think they can turn things around in the second half of the season. But if Nelson does become available, the Lions should be all over it. They've shown they're not afraid to make bold moves, especially if it means building a team that can go all the way. And with Jared Goff leading the charge, a fortified offensive line, and a defense that's improving, Detroit could be on the verge of something special. In fact, this potential trade could redefine how the Lions approach the rest of the season. With Nelson protecting Goff, the Lions' offense could transform from good to elite, and the defense gets relief from having to cover for interior gaps. This would also help in close games, where every possession counts, and turnovers can be the difference between victory and defeat. If Detroit manages to add Nelson, they're not just upgrading their roster, they're upgrading their chances at making a deep playoff run, possibly even challenging for a Super Bowl appearance. So, in summary, the buzz around Quentin Nelson and the Lions is real. It's a move that could reshape the NFC North landscape, give Detroit a massive boost on both sides of the ball, and set the stage for a historic Super Bowl push. We'll be watching closely to see if the Colts pull the trigger, but one thing is for sure, if they do, Lions fans should get ready for a game-changing addition that could elevate this team to new heights. The future of Detroit's offensive line looks brighter than ever, and the possibility of solidifying their dominance with a player like Nelson is tantalizing. Stay tuned, because this story isn't over yet, and the Lions' journey to the promised land could just be taking a major step forward. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential Nelson trade? Do you think it's a move that could push Detroit over the edge? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Lions. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news. This is a team on the rise, and with moves like this, they're setting themselves up to be a serious Super Bowl contender. Let's keep the faith, keep cheering loud, and stay locked in, because the best is yet to come for the Detroit Lions.